Anyone who comments XRP in the section below will get up to $100 0 cents free, which they can use to get even more XRP. To get the free XRP and enter to win 100,000 XRP, you must like, comment on, and subscribe to the video. More information will be given at the end, so make sure you watch all the way to the end. May 9th, October 6th recently made a lot of news when they said that XRP would be used for payments in their FedNAP payment system. It also comes alongside a massive partnership announced between Ripple Labs and the United States Federal Reserve, confirming that XRP will be the global reserve currency as said by Ripple's CEO. When XRP was first made, before Ripple existed, its creators chose to make it in 100 billion units because they wanted it to be a world reserve currency, rather than a smaller number with a very high price. In fact, the Federal Reserve Bank is said to be trying to stop regular people from buying XRP. They may also work with Rebel Labs to make the XRP ledger and currency more useful. This will cause a huge supply shock. This is a very important statement because it means that XRP's electric experience will continue even if there is a supply shock. It also means that a lot of retail XRP will be bought back, and it will move from retail hands to institutional hands. Google also confirmed and showed that the Federal Reserve is getting ready to use XRP as a way to pay for things around the world. It is said that Ripple is buying back XRP to change ownership from individual buyers to institutions. Not only that, but JP Morgan also says it will accept XRP as payment. They use the XRP Ledger Cashbox system, which is driven by the Kobe Trading Fund and the CTF token. You can check this out on Google, which confirms that the Federal Reserve uses XRP around the world and plans to take ownership of it as a global payment solution. It also shows that Ripple is buying back XRP as part of their buyback program to move it from individual users to institutions. David Antifalati, one of the top leaders of the Federal Reserve, had actually said that the Fed would hand over payment settlement to a third-party company like Ripple Labs, which would use the XRP ledger and the XRP cryptocurrency for payments. We are only just starting, but we have proof that Arthur Pritchett, co-founder of Ripple Labs, said that XRP was made to be used on a global scale and hinted at a $10,000 0-cent price per XRP. Before we go any further with the movie, we have to give everyone who is watching free money. Yes, everyone who watches this video could win up to $100 0 cent. This way, you can get even more XRP and have the chance to become very wealthy just by watching the Crypto Geek Show. To get it, just click like, subscribe to the station to see more videos, comment XRP in the video's comments, and then sign up. Use the link in the description. Once that's done, you'll get up to $100 0 cents free to use to buy even more XRP. You could become a multi-millionaire by signing up for Uphold and making a trade in less than 3 minutes. So, with that out of the way, let's watch more of the movie. The Fed won't like it if it can print as much money as it wants. You could call this big list the blockchain, but the Fed is the only one who can change it. It's also very cheap, much cheaper than Bitcoin if you're okay with someone else taking care of it. So let's say you didn't want the Federal Reserve to be in charge of handling the payments. That would be the bad thing about all of that. I mean, let's say the Fed is likely to limit some sales by requiring know your customer's aid ID. They might not be able to handle some purchases you want to make. And that's when I said, well, if we wanted to, we could take the idea one step further. You could imagine not FedWire for all, but kind of with a Fed coin, where the Fed would issue these Bitcoin-like things and make sure they had the same value as the US dollar. I'm not saying this will ever happen, but it's an interesting idea that would stop the changes in the exchange rate. But they could delegate the clearing of these funds to some third party, some sort of Ripple-like protocol, or possibly even Bitcoin. In other words, we could give the miners the job of handling these electronic Fed coin payments. And the plan would be, but first let's look at the price of XRP, which is now $2.07, up 3.66% in just the last 24 hours. Now, not only Ripple, but also Ripple's CEO and a number of other speakers have stated that XRP will be the US global reserve currency. This was confirmed by both the US Strategic Reserve and Ripple CEO. Here are two clips, one confirming it by the CEO of Ripple, and the second one was the Federal Reserve, which we just showed you. That's why it makes a lot of sense. Get the CEO of Ripple to say that XRP will become a world reserve currency and the part of the US Strategic Reserve. There is also the Federal Reserve saying it. Let's play the movie. the different ways that LLUSD and XRP can be used. Might you be able to double-click that and explain or outline how you see different use cases for each one? Well, to begin with, I believe it is important to know the difference because some false information has, once more, led some people to misunderstand our point of view. There are many reasons why we are still fully committed to the XRP community. It's an incredibly useful blockchain. Also, it's clear that we have a lot of XRP. We're fully committed. Just to tell you, XRP is the token that comes with the XRP ledger. It's needed for gas stocks and the accounts ledger. But more simply, you need XRP to use the XRP ledger. When we go to market with Ripple as a way to send money across borders, we use it as a bridge asset. It's very, very, very fast, and it's almost free for each transaction. We use it around the world, and when converting currencies isn't as common or when there isn't as much liquidity, this way it can work with a safe coin. Now let's talk about the other side. Ripple has used stablecoins for years. We used Tether and USDC. As time went on, we started to wonder, well, since we said in public that we were minting 20% of all USDC at one point, so we thought, wait a minute, could we join this market? Even though we felt like we had a real role to play in this, I think we will still use other tools from time to time. To make on-chain payments, you need stablecoins. There will need to be stablecoins as more assets are turned into tokens on the XRP system. And even the Ondu news from earlier today shows some of that. We still have a lot to look into. I believe, okay, when we talk about XRP, we can't leave out the XRP ledger. In fact, Banchange is the best place to buy and sell XRP and all of its pieces, including the main coins and utility coins. If you want to use XRP Ledger, Polygon, Binance, XRP Ledger Solana, or any of the other EVM chains, Banchange is the best place to do it. They have almost every token for Ethereum and all of its chains. You can get them on your phone with Apple or Android at Band Exchange. You can also see and trade all the newest tokens right away, and it's very easy to buy them with a credit card. You can also sell them and send the money straight to your bank account. Not a problem. Don't forget about the BEXC ticket now. The BEXC token is Ben Exchange's native token, and we have news that it's about to go through the roof. They just released it officially today. They haven't done any marketing or even talked about it. This means that things are about to get very bullish, very quickly, and very soon. They also unlocked the buy with card feature on the BXE token, which means that you can now buy the native Ben Exchange token, the BXE token, instantly and easily using fiat. Once more, all you have to do is type in the dollar amount of BXC. You can write $200, 0 cents here if you want to buy $200, 0 cents worth of BX. That means you can put any amount of money, $200, 0 cents, $300, 0 cents.